Howdy y'all, welcome back. This is my Let's Play EVE Online series, and where we left off we had finished our mission, our first mission, and we were ready to learn our first skill. Here's our skill book, Shield Operation. In order to learn skills, you first have to inject those skills into your character. In order to do that, we right click on the book and we inject skill. Now, when you inject the skill, you don't start training it right away. At least you don't have to. But in our case, since we don't have anything training at the moment, we'll go ahead and do that. We'll come down here to shields, and here's our shield operation, and it'll show you how long it'll take to train the next level and how many skill points you'll accumulate when that's done. Over time, this number will go up and it'll end up capping at 250 for the first level. It'll take 8 minutes and 20 seconds. So we'll right click here and we will add it to the queue down here. The queue is empty, so we'll add this to the queue, and there it is. Shield Operation level 1. Now if you want to, you can add it again and you'll train level 2 immediately after level 1 is completed. That'll take 38 minutes and 50 seconds after Shield Operation 1 is completed. You can always do that. And there are other skills. For instance, we have Gunnery level 2. We have Small Hybrid Turrets level 3. That would take 3 hours, 20 hours. Engineering, we have CPU management, we have power grid management. Under armor, we have mechanics. So you have a bunch of different skills that have already been trained to a certain level, just starting out. If you wanted to increase those, you would just select one, select add, it'll add it to the queue. If you are a trial account, you cannot add skills to the queue past the 24-hour mark. If you've got your skill queue loaded up and you have skills ready to train over a 24-hour period and you're on a trial account, you cannot add anything else to the queue. If you are a subscriber, that limit doesn't apply to you. You can train for as long as you want to, but there is a maximum number of skills that you can add to the queue. If you hit that number of skills in the queue, then it won't let you add any more, but there's no time restriction on how long you can add to the queue. Alright, so we'll apply these changes. There we go. And it starts the countdown on our first level of shield operations. Okay, now that we've done that, let's go ahead and click next and move on to, here she goes over learning to train skills, which is just what we went over, using the books, injecting them, getting them into your training queue. So we will move on ahead through that. This just talks about what we talked about earlier, about how you can look at a skill in the, let's bring up the market. You can go to the different skill books, click on this little I, the information button, click on requirements, and I could, right now, since I have Gunnery level 2, there's a green check mark. If I had the book, the skill book, I could train controlled bursts. If you want to know how much that skill book would cost you, you can click on View Market Details, and it will come up here. There are people in this station selling the book for 70,000 ISK. If you wanted to buy it here, you could do so, and inject it, train it, start controlled bursts. So that's how that works. Alright, requesting new missions. Now we're going to get another mission from her, another tutorial mission. She says that when you have an agent, they'll offer you a mission. You don't have to take it. If you don't want to take it, it's better to leave it as offered rather than accept it and fail it. If you leave it as offered, you won't take those standing hits. When the offer runs out, the offer just runs out. and if you want to go back and try to get the mission again, you can always go back and talk to that agent. But for now, she wants us to get a new mission from her, so we will start the conversation. This will bring up the Combat Basics mission. Okay, this is tutorial mission number 2. We are going to head to the location here in Kisogo, and we will destroy a fuel depot, and then some pirates will show up and we'll destroy them. If we're successful, when we get back, she will give us a small shield booster for our ship. Okay, so let's accept this. There, we have accepted the mission. We can close this and we'll click next here. Now, our ship, when we got it, was just a ship. It did not have any guns. It did not have any equipped items of any kind on it. It was just the ship itself. We need to put something on this ship so that we can shoot things while we're out there. And we can also fit things on our ship to help protect our ship, like shields, shield boosters, shield repair units, armor repair units, those types of things. But she wants us to, she's probably given us something, so she wants us to open the ship fitting service, which is this button here, or this button over here on the right. They're both the same thing. They will open the same window, the ship fitting window. Now here's our IBIS, and it shows you the different slots that this ship has. It has 2 high slots, 2 medium slots, and 2 low slots. Right? If it was a ship that was capable of having rigs attached to it, those slots would appear over here on this side. High slots are for guns, missiles, survey drones. You can also put salvaging equipment in the high slots. Middle slots are for things like shield boosters, afterburners, shield hardeners, armor repairers. Those types of things can show up in your mid slots. Your low slots are things like cargo capacity extenders, things that help in electronic warfare can go down here, those types of things. So let's see what she has for us. She said, open it. When you've opened the fitting service, which we have, click next, which we will. And she says you've received some new items in your hangar, an electron blaster and a shield booster. So let's go over here to our inventory. This is the inventory button here. You can click on it, and it will bring up your item hanger. The item hanger is all of the items you have stored on this particular station. If you leave this station and you have things in the item hanger, those items will be left behind. Okay? If you want to take items with you, you have to drag them into your ship's hold and click on it, and there you will see we have the clearance documents that we got from the last one, and we have our gun that we just got from Aura. Now, if we leave the station, the gun and the clearance documents would come with us, but the civilian shield booster would be left behind in the station. Okay? I'm going to move this down here so I can work with it a little better. Now she says, once you've found the item, click next once you've found the items in question, which we have. So we'll click next. Fitting modules to your ship. Okay, fitting modules to the ship is a simple case of drag and drop. Items will have a little icon down here that shows you which slot they will fit in. The double dash lines is a mid-slot item. So we can take the shield booster, drag it onto our ship, and it will automatically be put into a mid-slot item. Now, items, either guns, missile turrets, shield boosters, shield hardeners, armor repair units, they all will take a certain amount of power and a certain amount of CPU to operate. If you don't have enough CPU or enough power, you can still put them on your ship, but they will be inactive. They will not be able to be turned on and be used. They'll just be fitted on your ship, but they won't do anything if you don't have enough CPU and enough power to run them. We can do the same thing with our gun. We take our gun, drag it over our IBIS, automatically it gets fitted into a high slot. Okay, now that we've done that, we can select next, and she's wanting us to undock. So we'll go ahead and do that. We're going to head out and start our second mission. And she says that after you've undocked, you can hit next. We will. Here we go, leaving the station. Zoom out a little bit just so we can see this a little better. Okay, we'll click next. She's warping the mission. All right, we have over here our agent missions. We have combat basics. We can open this little window. There's our warp to location again. We can just click on it and it will automatically take us to our mission location. And off we go. Now you'll notice down here we have new icons. Whenever you fit things to your ship, this is where those things are going to show up over here on the right side of your HUD.
Skill training completed.
Yes, thank you very much. We finished our first shield, shield operation level is done. As you can see here, we are now at level 1, and it automatically began training the second level without us even having to do anything. And that is the case whether you're online or offline. Even if you're offline and you queue up a bunch of skills to train, they will automatically train until the queue runs out. Okay, when you arrive, click next when you've arrived, which we have, so we'll click next. Now, loading your weapons. Our faction uses hybrid charges, okay? A small stack of those have been placed in our ship cargo hold, so we'll open that up. Here they are, charges. Hybrid turrets use charges, okay? Missile batteries use missiles, and then laser turrets use a little laser crystal that you put in. The laser crystal is the only thing that is not consumable. You can buy one laser crystal for a laser turret, and that laser turret will never run out of ammo. The other two, the hybrid turrets and missiles, are both ammo dependent. You have to have ammo in order to fire the gun, and that ammo is depleted every time you fire it. But we have 500 units of antimatter charge small. That's what that S means. There is small, medium, large, and then you can get in capital ships after that. Okay? But the IBIS uses a small turret, so it requires small charges. Alright. So, in order to load our gun, what we have to do is we'll right-click on here, right-click on our gun, and then this very first thing is the charges that we have. We left-click on that, and it will begin loading our gun. It does take a little bit of time to load the gun. Once it's loaded, it will change to so you can view the charge that you've put in the gun. That's how you know the gun is loaded. The gun will change the icon to show the ammo that is now within it, and it'll give you some information. Based on our skills and the ammo that we're using, we have an optimal range of 600 meters. That means we will do the most damage if we're within that range to whatever we're shooting at. And we have a fall-off range of 2,100 meters. What that means is at 600 meters, we're doing the most damage we can possibly do. If we get beyond, if we go from 600 to 2,100, we will start losing DPS. After 2,100 meters away from whatever we're shooting at, it's nearly impossible to hit your target once you go beyond that fall-off range. Okay, so for this gun, for this ammo, we are needing to stay as close as possible, and that's what that means. Okay, so now that we've done that, we'll click next, and she is there. She's talking about different types of ammunition. This is antimatter charge. Antimatter charge is a close range charge, a close range ammo. There's many different types of ammo. We can come over here to the regional market and we can type in, here we go, ammunition and charges for hybrid charges, and we will do standard charges. We can get the rest of those there. Small charges, and here you go, all the different types of charges: antimatter, iridium, iron, lead, plutonium, thorium, tungsten, uranium. They all do a little bit different damage-wise. The important thing to note is that the two important ones to really keep in mind are antimatter and lead. Antimatter is a close range ammo. It will cause your optimal range to be very small, and it has a very short fall-off range. Okay, lead charges are a long range ammo. They will have a very long optimal range and an even longer fall-off range. Lead is for your basically sniper type ships. Eventually I will be using a lot of lead charge. That's usually what I run with a little bit of antimatter just in case things get too close to me. I can switch over them. The rest of the charges are basically flavoring. They do a little bit different damage. They may have a slightly different optimal and fall-off range, but they're more of a flavor thing. Iridium, iron, plutonium, thorium, tungsten, uranium. They're going to be your mid-range charges, and there are plenty of them to choose from. Okay, so once you've activated the acceleration gate, click next. So we need to activate our acceleration gate to get to where we're going. So we'll do that. It automatically lines our ship up, and off we go. We'll click next here. Blowing things up. Yes, the fun of Eve. Either blowing up other people, blowing up other pirates. It just depends on what you want to do. Now, in order to blow something up, we have to first target it. So we can click on this fuel depot, but we still can't shoot at it. If we try to shoot at it, it's not going to shoot anything because we don't have a locked target yet. Okay, we can lock the target by pushing this button, or we can use the radio menu, click and hold, come down here and lock the target that way. Locking a target does take time. That time is dependent upon the skills you have in targeting, the ship you are flying, and the guns you are using. All of that goes into how quickly you can lock a target. Once the target is locked, you then left click your gun and it will just automatically shoot at the target. And then she says once you open fire, you can click next. Alright. Taking damage. You can see over here that as you shoot at it, these white bars turn red. Okay, there's 3 bars. It's the same 3 bars you have on your ship. The outer bar is shields, the middle bar is armor, and the inner bar is hull. Something is not destroyed until all 3 bars are completely red. Then the object is destroyed. Okay? Different races will use different types of tanking. Tanking is basically absorbing damage. The Caldari are shield tankers. They will use shields as their primary damage absorption source. They will use shield boosters, shield hardeners, and they will try to keep their shields up and take damage without it getting to the armor or the hull. Other civilizations, the other races in the game, will use armor tanking. And that means they don't care about their shield. Their shield is just kind of there. If it survives, fine. If it doesn't, fine. They don't care about their shield. They will armor tank, which means they will use armor hardeners, armor repair units, these types of things in order to try to stay alive. So it just depends on which race you run and really what you train for. You can be a Caldari that armor tanks if you want to. If you want to train the skills to do it, this game will certainly let you do that. There's no problem in that. Okay. Now our fuel depot blew up finally. Very pretty. And she says click next once that's done. Alright. Using the heads up display, she just goes over what we just went over. Shields, armor, hull, and it takes all three in order to kill your ship. Now, the explosion caused some damage to our ship. We took some shield damage because we were close to the explosion. We can heal, but it will heal naturally over time. Shields naturally regenerate based upon your capacitor, your ship, and other things. But you can speed that up if you have a shield booster. If we click the shield booster, it will make the shields regenerate faster. It does use capacitor energy, though. It will deplete your capacitor by doing this. So if your capacitor isn't able to keep a charge while the booster is running and you deplete it, eventually you'll run out of capacitor and the booster will no longer work. But for our purposes in this tutorial mission, that really doesn't happen. The shield goes to full, and then you can just turn off the booster by clicking it again. Click next there. Then she tells you more about shields and armor that we've already gone over. So I'll click next. What to shoot at? Okay. Now we're going to learn to shoot at enemy ships. So we will activate the gate, and we will move on to the second part of this mission.
Warp drive active.
Alright, here we go. Okay, we have our first. Alright, we've activated the acceleration, so we'll click next. Now, enemy ships. Enemy ships will show up, like we said before, these little crosses that are red. Alright, so I can click on him, and I will go ahead and lock him as a target. Now, if you'll remember, we said our optimal range for our guns was 600 meters. So if I want to keep him at 600 meters, I have a couple of options. I can either keep at range, which will just fly the ship in such a way that he stays at 600 meters, or I can try to orbit him at 600 meters. Orbiting is usually the better case because you stay moving. A moving ship is harder to hit. Now, this says we're going to orbit at 1,000 meters. That's not really what we want to do. We can change that, though, by going over here and left-clicking, bring up the radial menu, bring up the orbit thing, and then after you hover over this, you move your mouse cursor up and back, and you can change orbit distance. We will orbit at 500 meters. That's close to the 600 we do, and we will go ahead and engage our turret. As you can see, we are doing damage to him, and there he goes. That's our first one. Another one automatically jumps in. So what we can do is click on him here, lock the target. Once the target is locked, left click and hold to bring up the radial menu, go to orbit, go to 500 meters, orbit it, turn on our gun. We'll kind of face him so you can see what we're doing here. And there he goes. Very easy. Now, it's not always going to be that easy, obviously, but these are tutorial missions, so Once you've eliminated both, click Next, which we will do. Now we can return to base and complete our mission. To do that, here is our station that we need to return to. So we can click on the station, come up here, click on Dock, and our ship will
Warp drive
automatically
active.
warp to the station and then dock with it. We'll fly back. Now, something to note, this little exclamation point came up here. What this means is that you've been in combat recently with an NPC ship. This countdown timer will prevent your character from being logged out of the game until this timer runs out. It keeps people from engaging in combat and seeing, oh gosh, I'm not going to win this,
Docking
and trying to
mission
log out in
requested.
order to save their ship. This countdown timer
Docking
prevents that.
request
You can log
accepted.
out, but your character and your ship will remain active wherever they were in the game world. If you do it at station, that's obviously the safest thing to do because no one can shoot you here, and the timer will just eventually run down, and your character will be logged out of the server after that timer runs out. You can jump out of the game, but your character will remain active within the server until this countdown timer is gone. If you're in a station, don't worry about it. Your character is safe, the countdown timer will run off, and then your character will deactivate. So that's why it is always safest to log out inside a station. Alright, we're back here. We can converse with Aura again. We see the green check mark. We can hit complete mission. And there you go. You've done very well. We've completed the mission. We can look to see and make sure that we got our reward. Come over here, go to our item hanger, and there is our small shield booster. Alright, I think I'll take a break here, and when we come back, we will start mission number 3 of the tutorial series.